It's lager time. Yay! Lager time. Poems, stories and thoughts. By me, Paul Cree. Who else?
Yes. 1, 2, greetings, bonjour. What's happening? Welcome to Lager Time. It is Lager Time indeed. Well, it's not really Lager Time. It's just coming up to 1 o'clock. Here in Southeast London in Lager HQ at the bottom of the garden. My name is Paul Cree. Lager Time is where I share bits of writing that I'm working on. Be they poems, stories, thoughts, music, etc. So of late, I've been sharing a couple of poems each week, which are in my first book, The Suburban, which came out in 2018 on Burning Eye Books. So what I'm doing alongside doing this podcast is I'm recording a couple because I want to put it into an audio book or an audio album that anyone can stream. Really, I'm just trying to build up a catalogue. Really, I have some stuff that you can get online and all of that, but there's so much stuff that's there on my hard drive. But anyway, what's been going on? I've been not much to report. I've been beavering away, just keeping myself busy. There's a lot going on outside of Lagerland at the moment, but we're getting there. We're cracking on. I feel very focused, more so than I ever have. Lots of things, different things that I'm doing. I'm talking vaguely here, but yeah, I'm all right. Basically, last night I was back at Dream Arts with the Dream Arts rep gang. So last week I mentioned that the show that's currently touring, What We Do When We Can't Dance, which I've worked on, I wrote the script and produced all the music, and I've been a part of that project for a long time. It got a really good review, 5 stars, up at the Lichfield Garrick. They're not long back from the Isle of Wight at the Ventnor Fringe Festival. It sounds like they did really well down there. But they're so ahead of schedule that I've come in really to start working on the next project. Normally, we don't really start working on the next show till around September, October, but they're so good this year, like the cast, things have moved a lot faster. Maybe that's just progression. But yeah, it's early days, but we're going in and just playing around with ideas. So I'm hopefully all going well, going to be doing the same role next year, so writing and producing the music again, but we're already starting to toy with new ideas. That show is still on tour. It is going to Plymouth Theatre Royal on the 11th of August at 5 p.m. I think tickets are free but limited, so if you're down all the way down in the southwest, get yourself down there. It's a really good show. It's really like a love story, sort of coming of age story, but very nuanced as the reviewer picked up on, which we were very pleased about. And funnily enough, I just looked earlier on about going down to see the show. Thought it might be nice to have a little trip down to Plymouth. I've not been there for a long time. Have myself a little day out. It's a long way from London. But yeah, even on the coach, doing it on the cheap tickets, it's like 60, 70, 80 quid. The train, don't even think about it. But so alas, that's not going to be happening. However, it will be in London, September, I believe. I'll be coming home to London. Yeah, so that's more or less what I've been doing. Not much else to report. I'll be going back there tonight, doing the same thing again. And yeah, just life stuff. So on to the poems. There's 2 poems this week. The first one is called The 2100 to Nowhere, and the one after is called Montage. So both of these are a little more obscure in terms of I didn't perform them much. The 2100 to Nowhere was written specifically for an anthology that came out in, I think it was 2011, I think it was, called Rhyming Thunder, which came out on Burning Eye Books, which was the publisher that went on to publish The Suburban. And I think it was the first thing that I had published. And it was an anthology of UK performance poets. So there's a lot of people in there that have gone on to have really big careers, like Rob Orton, Harry Baker, and Jess Green, I think, if I remember rightly, Talia Randall, a number of others. And, at the time we were all quite young, active from various parts of the country. So, yeah, and I think it was Burning Eye's first book. And they did a launch night, I remember, and yeah, it was good. It was good fun. It was nice to have something in print, but I wrote it specifically for that book. Whereas I misread the brief. The idea was that we were all performing regularly back then, but not many of us had published work. So the idea was all those poems we were going around performing, you were going to put them in a book. So me just did what I normally do and just did my own thing. I thought, oh, wicked, I'm going to write something specific. Anyway, it's called The 2100 to Nowhere. I recorded it the other day for the audiobook. I actually quite like it. The only time I ever performed it was at the launch night for that book. And then number 2 was Montage. Again, I don't know why. I thought, I don't know, maybe it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Montage was a poem, it's kind of about self-loathing really and not growing up. But yeah, I maybe performed it once or twice, and then we shot a video for it with Muddy Feet Poetry, large up the Prince of Penge, Peter Hareho and his Muddy Feet gang. I think on a current hiatus, they put out lots of poetry videos, and we did it at my mate Steve's flat, large up Ruckus T, his old gaff in Kilburn. And we did a video for it. And I remember when Pete put the video out, he put in the description, he said it was about like, I don't know, a jealousy or something like that. It's like, no, it weren't that, mate. It was just about being reluctant to grow up, which was kind of basing it on, as ever, or me when I was younger, I suppose. But I wrote it in the second person. I don't really like writing in the second person. It makes me feel a bit ugh. But that's the only time I ever did it, I think. Probably why I never performed it much. But anyway, I think it's all right. You can make a judgment call on that. And, a little bit of news I forgot to add. So I'm doing a gig next Friday in East London, Dalston, at Cafe Otto. It's a night called Adult Entertainment. Do yourself a favour, like I almost just did just now, putting the links together. Don't go searching that online. I've put a link in to the event, but it's run by James Messiah, another poet I've known for a long time. James is a big face in London. He DJs. He's always at big events and stuff. Gone on to do some pretty cool things, but he puts the night together. He's a real man about town. A raconteur. But yeah, he just contacted me a couple of days ago. Did I want to come and do some poems? And yes, I will be there next Friday evening, which is the 7th of August. Cafe Otto, 7 p.m, Dalston Junction. All right, that's it for the spiel. Let's crack on with the poems. All right. 2100 to Nowhere. One of several large flat-screen TVs blinks silently, rotating an incessant stream of updating information from the world of football and a few other sports which fight like pigeons over the remaining crumbs of coverage, muted to a theme tune of songs played over the PA, mostly belonging to a decade before. Lip-syncing Sky Sports newsreaders with Snow Patrol or Oasis becomes a game in itself. The many pillars of unofficial knowledge that often populate pubs, normally stood like dusty ornaments at the bar, will tell you the breweries pay less to PRS for the older songs, like it's some grand racket that none of us are supposed to be in on. This is no normal pub. Establishments like this one, with its sports screens, high bar stools and signed shirts in frames, will rarely produce such loyal patrons, due to the nature of the clientele they serve on a daily basis, for they belong in train stations. Suspending animation between places as people revolve as fast as turnstile gates on packed match days. Located conveniently between A and B, these are the types of bars which I never remember the name of, but chances are I'll know what beers they sell, how much they charge, and I'll quietly tut when I receive my change on a shiny silver tray with a receipt including the VAT breakdown and the bartender's name, which in this case is Pascal, not that we're on a first name basis, and it's that lack of familiarity which appeals to me. With decor and furniture normally generic enough that even the most eccentric amongst us can blend in and become anonymous, it's in here I can quietly sip my beer and disappear. In here I don't exist, trapped between time zones from when I have no place to go. This soulless sports bar is a waiting room where reason can consult my heart and pick apart my brain, or simply sit, sip, and switch off. I watch as commuters come and go for a post-work drink. Some look as if they're biding their time back before the big squeeze back to the provinces, towns of the type I grew up in. Tourists browse the expensive food menus in which oven-heated ready meals appear at the blink of an eye. Groups of lads and girls break journeys down in booze at breakneck speed before they leave to presumably go on to drink even more. If I sit here long enough, the merry-go-round of sports updates will produce a new piece of news. I might even hear a song I once liked. The few pound coins in the tray, the residue of a £10 note used to pay for a pint, may not even see the dark cotton cushion of my pocket. I may just be popped into the slot of a fruit machine, depending on how low I sink. Today I'm sat about 3 feet off the ground, on this high stool nursing an expensive pint poured by Pascal, and I will take my time. This bar is my camo pattern jacket hidden amongst the leaves, and when I'm ready, I'll slowly slip off my stool and go locate my train. 2100 to nowhere. Yes, all right. Reminds me of a particular time where it's been a few times in my life, really, where you work the day job, don't really like the day job, but you also don't really like going home either. It was a difficult time, but, places like that, I liked them. I probably would have done a little bit of writing in there as well. No one cares in there. That's why I like them. Anyway, Montage. Final poem for today. You wake up. You walk into the bathroom. You're wondering what's happened to your mate. Your best mate. What's changed? You ain't seen him in days. You look in the mirror and wonder what's happened to your face. What's changed? You ain't shaved in days. Another line in your forehead appears. The gears in your imagination begin to grind. The light in your mind flickers and the film reels begin to rotate. Cue montage. Coldplay plays. Your mate and his girl, arm in arm, walks in the park kicking up leaves, feeding ducks in the pond, trips to the sea, trips to art galleries, joint shopping trips to Gap and H&M, his and hers and his, sharing friends over drinks. Mates are now friends, friends are now ours ain't his, ours ain't you. Dinner parties using recipes taken from celebrity chefs. Expensive A4 hardback conveniently rests on the clinically clean kitchen surface, strategically placed to make it look like it wasn't placed to imply taste. Sunday afternoons in gastropubs or in Starbucks, drinking from huge coffee mugs held with two hands, then taking selfies. Cheesy trinkets and cutlery, amalgamating diaries, middle ground CDs, middle ground DVDs, middle ground being feeling like the carpet under your feet, hiding the cold, hard, damp, scarred floorboards underneath where skeletons of single ex-friends lie recluse. For choosing to refuse to wear shoes in place of trainers in order to gain entry into cheesy nightclub venues, continuing to smoke weed, consume lager, watch football and smash kebabs, still listening to hip-hop and underground dance music, still rebelling against chart music, still laughing when farting, still openly honest about porn use, still treading water in an ocean of self-loathing. I've lost it, fuck. Still treading water in an ocean of self-loathing where the only humane feeling that remains is the pain from getting salt in the wounds. Still complaining about the day-to-day pursuit of pay and feeling unfulfilled. That grates like an itch you can never quite reach between the shoulder blades. Lacking the kind of companion that will scratch it and relieve it, then embrace you for all your insecurities, idiosyncrasies and imperfections and tell you that it will all be okay. Chuckling in your ear, stroking your hair, kissing you on the cheek, then walking away, leaving a sweet perfume in the airspace. As you look in the mirror, see your face, think of her and think, shit, life's all right. Instead you see your face, your muggy, unshaven face, and you think of your mate, and you hope the prick is happy. That's it, Montage. Montage, wow, what two sort of quite depressing pieces. However, enjoyed reading it. Hope you enjoyed it too. Don't forget, you can get the Suburban book, the original, on my website, paulcree.co.uk/shop. There's a handful of copies left somewhere. There'll be a link for the Montage video. Also, the Rhyming Thunder anthology that I mentioned. I don't know if it's still available. Next Friday, 7th of August, Cafe Otto, Dalston Junction, Adult Entertainment. I'll be there doing some poems. And then 11th of August, Theatre Royal Plymouth, 5 p.m, What We Do When We Can't Dance. So that'll do. Peoples, thank you very much for listening. If you got this far, enjoy the cooler weather. Peas and taters. Paul.
It's longer time. Yay! Lager time. Poems, stories and thoughts. By me, Paul Cree. Who else?